All right. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Or no? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. All right. As you can see right here, I've added some characters. I'm going to add some characters into the project. I think it's going to look very cool. I see a lot of projects that they have pretty much the same character, the same sandbox character, and I thought of changing it because I don't know. I think it looks more cooler to have this character, such as this one right here. As you can see, I think it matches perfectly what I need. I'm just going to place the cap to be black. I think it matches more. Let me just see, where is it? The cap. Okay, so this is the cap. So I guess you guys know how to add the characters to your project. You just gotta go to, the fab. There is a fab.com website that you can search for characters. So for example, you can type character. That's what I've done. You can type character in here, search for projects that's compatible with the Unreal engine. And then you can search for the characters. And you can add basically any character that you want. There is even Mickey. What is this? So you can also set the price. If you wanna download things for free, you can just check this box in here, which was the thing that didn't have in the Epic Games store. So that's why they created Fab. They were working on Fab to add that option, that little option there. I think that wasn't possible to add for the developers of the website of Epic Games or the launcher. I don't know. That was weird. Now I have the characters in here. As you can see, we have already added the characters in here. So I guess you guys are pretty familiar with adding characters to the project. Is very simple. You just gotta go to Fab, add to library, and then you're going to go to the Epic Games launcher. And then from there, you can refresh the library page, and then click on the click to add, and it's going to add to your project. You just gotta select the project to add. But in here, I'm going to just use this character right here. Before doing anything, you gotta check which skeleton is assigned to it. So as you can see, this one is compatible with the UE5 skeleton. You gotta check that out. If you go to show advanced character, bones, all hierarchy, as you can see, it's pretty much the same thing as the UE5 character. If you compare the difference, let me just show. I don't know if there is a show option in here. Collision, no. Navigation developer. Oh, here, bones. Okay, so you can see the bones, all the bones in the world. As you can see, you can also see the bones in the arrow and in the pistol, the rifle, whatever. Now we're going to go to the UE5 skeleton. As you can see, if you bring that up, as you can see, it's the same skeleton. No actual extra bones, no anything, just pure UE5 skeleton. Same size, same everything. So you just got to make sure which skeleton you're messing with, you're using, because that's very important for setting up things later. It's perfect. Now in here on the sandbox character, let me just see where, okay, this is the sandbox character, UE4 mannequin. So as that's compatible with the UE4 skeleton, you can just change the mesh in here. Hopefully it works. I'm not sure if it works because usually that's how it works. You can just change the mesh and it's going to work. You don't need to do anything. So all you can do is just change the mesh in here by pressing N, as you can see, and it's going to work. So it's very simple. There's no secret in here. As long as the character is rigged to the UE4 skeleton, that's gonna work. So that's pretty much everything I gotta do. I don't know why the textures are missing. Are a little bit blurred. The textures are blurred out. I'm not sure why it happened. Press play again. Yeah, I'm not sure why it happened. Sometimes the engine glitches, as you can see right there. Let me just see what I can do. Just reopen the project, I guess. Save selected. Please don't hack me. All right. So when I press N, as you can see now the character works, blah blah blah, very cool. Let me just try to get the weapon. Yeah, it's going to be messy because we don't have any socket there. And we also don't have curves set in place. Maybe. So in some meshes, it's very obvious to see bone distortion. So in some meshes, bone distortion is very obvious. In the sandbox character, maybe you're not going to see bone distortion, but as soon as you start working with characters that has more realistic bones, realistic meshes, that's a very high chance that it's going to have you're going to have bone distortion. Even if the animation looks perfect on the UFN character, it's not going to look perfect on this character, for example, because maybe it could be something related to how the character was rigged. It's going to depend on how it was painted with the weights. It's going to depend on all of that as well. So I'm going to just figure out why it's not retargeting to why the pistol is not working at all. Because what that's happening here is that as soon as you press N to change the character, you have the option to preview the UE4 mannequin instance. And when you pick up the rifle, for example, the bones, they're not in place. And I think that is because in the sandbox character, we have the get left hand transform, and then in here we get the mesh of the hand R of the character. Let me just try to get this to be, let me just see. Okay, it's trying to get the mesh of the UFN skeletal mesh. So that was supposed to work. I'm not sure why the arms are broken now. We're going to have to figure out, because if I change the mesh, let me just see if I change the mesh to maybe the Quinn, get the pistol, get the rifle. As you can see, it's not set up. If you go back to the apply hand IK, something here is not working. As if you if you were to pick up the weapon in here, you just gotta pay attention to this value if they're changing or not. So if I move, check if they change. So the rotation x equals to negative 0.4. So if I move the character a little bit more, if I crouch, 0, it's the same, 0.4. Equip. Try to get another character, let's say the Quinn, and try to pick up. Now the effective transform is different. Bless you, bro. Thanks. Every time I start doing live, I cough a lot. Okay, let me just disable this hand IK system and let's see what happens. Okay. Try to pick up the rifle. As you can see, I think the reason why the character is being stretched like this is because we don't have the gun attached. We don't have the reference of the gun at all. So to fix that, we're gonna have to set it up in a way that it gets to read the mesh of the character. So as you can see, when you pick up the gun in the GASP character, it works. But if you pick up the gun in the other character, it doesn't work. The gun gets attached to the root component of the skeletal mesh. And I forgot what I did to fix that. So let's go back to the... All right. Let's go back to the weapon pickup, and in here we get the F, which traces for the item pickup. Okay, we get the weapon identifier, which is going to just get the reference of the class. And after that, we're going to block the movement input. That's fine. We're going to run the FootCorrection, which plays also in the characters mesh. Let me just see if that plays. No, that doesn't play at all. As well, I think that, yeah, because the FootCorrection is played only on the UFN character, so I'm gonna have to retarget that as well. To retarget, yeah, it's a mess over here. I gotta organize this before doing live streams off live, but that's what we have right now. So we're just going to retarget. In the animation, we're going to get the UE5 skeleton, and we're going to get the montage. So it's FootCorrection montage and export animations. We're going to export it to the content. Doesn't matter. Just gotta place it. Gotta write the prefix to be UE4 underscore export, and there we go. Now in here, let me just save everything. FootCorrection. Now just gotta name this to be UFN FootCorrection. Mohit Ma, I have a question. How do you destroy a spawn emitter with a duration? Destroy a spawn emitter with a duration. I have created a simple blueprint for bullet, so if the bullet touches the destination, the emitter spawns, but I'm not able to destroy it. Yeah, sometimes the... I don't know how to work with emitters, to be honest. Sometimes when you download, when you get a emitter from the marketplace, let me just reduce the volume here. I'm hearing everything. So sometimes when you work with marketplace assets, it's hard to maybe make the emitter to be destroyed, because when the emitter is spawned, as you can see, for example, like this, as you can see, that emitter is automatically destroyed itself. It auto destroys itself. It doesn't even... I don't even get the chance to make it disappear, because it disappears automatically. So I don't know how to help you on that case. Maybe you can try to use another emitter and see if that happens. But if you want to destroy the emitter after you spawn it, you just gotta, I don't know, get the return value here and get the destroy component, promote it to a reference so that you can reference it later, maybe. So out of the return value, you can promote it to a variable and use that variable to connect it to the target here. And then you can destroy that emitter if that's the case. But I'm not kind of sure how to be able to make it to fade away, simply because the emitter is just... I don't have total control of the emitter inside the backend of the code, because the emitter is just a visual. It's more like a visual thing. So I don't have that much control, especially because I don't have experience with emitters to make it disappear, because it disappears. But I'm not kind of sure how to... I hope you guys are not hearing my family in the background. They're going to be speaking Portuguese, but doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be able to understand them. All right. What I was going to do? Okay, so we played that animation. Let's play that animation based on the character name. So we're going to get the character name. Get the select node. So we're going to place it in here. So we're going to basically play the FootCorrection based on which animation, which skeleton we're running. So if you're running the UE4 skeleton, we're going to play the UE4 FootCorrection montage. And for the sandbox, we're going to play the UFN FootCorrection montage. Let me just see if there is anything other than that. If you go to the asset details, as you can see, we have the blend in time, which is customized by me, where you can also set it up. So the blend in time is 0.15, Hermite cubic in out, and that's how you gotta do for the change. And the rate scale is 1.2. So you gotta make that. Yeah, let's make the rate scale to be 1 in here, because I don't like to set up in every single montage. UE4. Yeah, so if you want to make it destroy through a delay, I think there is usually a lifespan setting in the both in the blueprint itself and in the emitter itself. So you gotta check it out. As I'm not familiar with emitters that much, I don't know. Yeah, there's usually a lifetime Lifetime value inside particle system. Yeah, I think there is such setting there. Check if character highlight is on weapon. Get weapon reference. Holster equip. Yeah, that's the code. So at the end, in here you have the function to holster and equip weapon. We get the reference of that weapon that was picked from the character. And then we use that variable to be in here. So we have the actor reference, we have the root component. We plug that into this node here, which attaches the gun to the character's hand, and it does the job. And the attach socket is going to be whatever is going to be the name. Yeah, there has to be an attach socket. Let me just check in the UE5 skeleton if you have the attach socket for the rifle, pistol, blah blah blah. Actually, we're gonna have to add this to this character. So you're gonna have to add all the. Okay. So if you access the UE5 mannequin, let's say if you want to attach the rifle, as you can see, the rifle is on the hand R of the character. So, and basically you're going to go to that S key skin and type hand R, and then add a socket, and then add rifle, and then add the rifle M41. That's the name. And then you're just going to, yeah, I wish I had the animation to be able to play in here, but that's okay. Now that's everything I gotta do is just place the rifle in his hand and place it perfectly. There we go. I think that's the usual way. If you try to, the only animations I have for the character right here is just this ones, but you can use it as a reference to see how the rifle is going to be on the character's hand. Yeah. Let's see if that solves the problem. We also have the mesh selection, which automatically we don't need to do anything here unless you use a different skeleton. Not the UE5, not the menu, not the sandbox. Let's say if you use the meta-human skeleton, you're going to have a new, you're going to add a new enumerator value, or enumeration value inside the character name enumeration. So you're going to add a new value to there and add and type meta-human. And then after typing meta-human, you're going to go to your meta-human blueprint class. You're going to go to the class defaults. And then down here, you're going to select the character name and then select meta-human. For in my case, it's UE5 because I'm using the UE5 skeleton. Yeah. That's it. Let's try to get that to be there. Okay, that's gonna work. Now let's try to re-enable the IK to see if the references are now getting in place. Now let's see if the character is going to glitch his hand. If it glitches, then I have another solution for it. Yeah, it is glitching. Okay, so I have another solution for it, which is... Sorry guys, it's been tough in here, very cold. So, in the Sandbox character, we get the get left hand IK, and in here we get the mesh. And in the mesh, you're gonna have to get the UE4 reference. Now to get the UE4 reference, you need to promote it to a variable. As you promote it to a variable, no, I'm kidding. Let me just get the mesh automatic selection. And sometimes I'm going to stay quiet because I need to think and focus more on what I'm going to do. Because I need to really think before doing things. And if you just start doing things and then if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't prepare first, something's going to go off and it's just going to be a waste of time. All right. Yeah, I'm going to do one thing in here. We're going to promote the return value to a variable, promote it to a variable. And as you can see, it's very glitched. I don't know why it's glitched like that, like this. But I'm going to name it to be UE4 ref. So I'm just going to delete this and re-add it to here. I'm going to promote the UE4 reference to a variable. Return value. And then I'm going to get the UE4 reference. I'm going to get it and convert to the validated cat. And that's what that's going to do. If the reference is already valid, you don't need to get the actor of a class again because it's already valid. So all you got to do is just get the reference of the UE4 mesh and then just use it. The same thing is going to happen in here, but right now I'm just only focused on the UE4. So if it's valid, we can just keep all that and then just go to the return node. Let me just see, what do we have in here? I think there's a better way to do this, but I need to think more. Okay, so if it's not valid, we're going to just plug that execution line directly into the return node, which is going to be great. It's going to work. If it is, no, actually, if it's not valid, we're going to get the reference first. And then if it's valid, we're going to skip the reference. We're going to skip the process of obtaining the reference of the actor. And after you have the variable, we can do anything with it. You can get the UE4 mesh as you have it right now, and then use that UE4 mesh to be in that function that we were missing, and then be plugged into here. But first, we got to check which character we're using. So we're going to do a select node, and then we're going to get the character name from here. And depending on which character we have, we're going to select a different skeletal mesh. So for here on the mesh, we're going to go to sandbox, and for all the rest of the other mesh references, we're going to just plug that in there. So this is for the UE4. So as you can see, we get the UE4 reference, and then we get the UE4 mesh, and plug the UE4 mesh to that result value there, and then just plug it right here. And that's going to work perfectly. Hopefully. So press and play. Yeah. Now the only thing is missing here, is the character. It's because the hand, as you can see, it's not quite there. And especially when we're working with the, yeah, it's snapping a little bit. I see that the idle animations aren't snapping a little bit, but that's okay. I know how to fix it. Just to delete the idle break 07 from the list. That's causing the issue. I'm not sure why it is. So as you can see, the bone is distorted. It's completely distorted. And this issue is more visible with the human characters because, you know, they twist very easily. So if you get this bone in here, and if it's twisted, as you can see, you're going to get that bone distortion there. And that doesn't really happen that much, I think, with the UFN mannequin. So if you twist its elbow, as you can see, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change the scale when you twist the elbow. So that's why it's good. That's why those issues are not visible until you switch to a human character. The Dave53 said, "Are you trying to switch characters with different skeletons inside the game in real time?" Right? Yes. No. Yes and no. What I'm trying to do. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do here is just basically change the character. So if you want to choose the human character, you can just press N, and then it's going to switch. So I'm basically adapting the code for the specifically for the UE4 character. For all the other characters, it's going to be a lot of more work, but I'm doing it specifically for this UE4 character. I've already changed the mesh. It looks very good. I like that. It looks like I'm playing GTA 5. As you can see when you start running, maybe the running animations does not look that much familiar, but you can pretty much see that this character is really good. I like this character a lot. So I basically want to make it to be able to, so that when you press N, you can switch to the human character, and then you can be able to do all the things that the sandbox character does, which is not working right now. So we're just working on making that possible. And the other issue that we have is that if you're holding the weapon and you press N, as you can see, all the weapons are not going to be updated. So, but we're not going to be working on that yet, because that's something that doesn't happen in video games. So I don't need to worry about fixing this issue. So let me try to fix the issue that we have for when we're picking up the rifle for the human character. As you can see, it's pretty much disordered. Let me just see if you can see better on the camera, the free camera. So yeah, maybe not when you're holding the gun like this, when you're aiming. Yeah, I have to remove that head. It's glitching through the character's neck. But it looks very cool. I like his shoe. I like the whole costume of this character, and it is free. So it's very much free. I just have to rotate as you can see, I need to rotate either the character's hand mesh or the gun that is attached to the character's hand to make it look realistic. So I need to rotate it to be rotated to the left. So that's gonna work. Let me go back to the editor. Oops. Where is it? F10. Sometimes F10 doesn't work. I think it's F11 to go back to the screen. Exit the full screen mode. So here on the ASCII skin, I'm gonna have to hold. Let me just get the third person idle to be in here. Yeah, I think that doesn't help, but just let. Anyways, let me just rotate this rifle a little bit in here. There we go. Save, and now press on play. Change the character. Get the still camera to be in place. And I think that's it. The crouching works great. No bone distortion so far. We just have issues with the ArrowPocket glitching and all those other issues. But that's going to be fine. We don't need the cap. So what you can do to delete the cap and all the other things that you don't want, for in this case, is just by getting the reference of it. So let's say I want to remove the cap for this character. I want you to first check if it's valid. So is valid. And then what I want to do is just destroy. Yeah, maybe destroy the actor. But if you destroy the actor, maybe it's going to be applied to the parent. Maybe not. Let's just see. I'm not sure if it's going to be applied. Oops, I've deleted myself. I've deleted myself because I didn't get the reference. So I destroyed myself. Let's just destroy the component and not myself, and press on play. Change the character and press and get the rifle. All right. So now the cap has disappeared. As you can see, there is no cap anymore, but the ArrowPocket is glitching. The character's back. Yeah, that's going to take a while to... I'm just disable the visibility. Oh, you can also just do this, disable the visibility. What else do we have? Oh yeah, this items in here, which is the handgun holster. They are also glitching. There's also the ammo pockets. Ammo pockets are also glitching through the mesh. Yeah, so I guess that's the perfect time to be able to fix it, so that you guys can learn how to fix that as well on the other characters. I wish there was a way to just copy every single socket name. Let me just see if there's a way to do that. Copy selected sockets and then just paste that in there. No, there's no way to do this. Oh yeah, there is. But the bone name, you just gotta change the bone name. Oh, okay, that's nice. I didn't know that there was a way to do that. You can just copy and paste the sockets. So all you gotta do is just select everything. There's no way. There is no way to select everything and select the socket name. You just gotta do one by one. Sorry, there's no way to select the bone name. So you gotta select it one by one. So this is the spine 04. And this is the spine 04 as well. So you just gotta, yeah, there's no, wait. Oh yeah, I forgot this character on the UE5 skeleton. As this human skeletal mesh does not have a spine 4, it only has 3 spines, so it's spine 01, 02, and 03. There is no spine 4, so you're gonna have to add the spine 3. So you're going to go to the bone name and type spine 3, and that's the only spine that you have available. So you're going to select that and select this as well. Of course, you got to change the name later as well. Thank you. You got to change the name as well. So this is going to be spine 3. And I think it's not going to really matter the place you change from the spine 4 or spine 3. It's not going to really affect the way the arrow pocket is going to behave. It's going to be attached on the character, because that doesn't really change. It's not going to be that much huge difference from the positions of the spine. If you compare the difference, let's say from the UE4 skeleton, and if you get the difference of the, let's see, where is the, okay, this skeleton and the UE4 skeleton. Yeah, the UE4 skeleton is very short. So here for the spines, so these are the spine bones if you don't know. So 1, 2, 3. I don't know if it counts from the top to bottom. Let's see. So this is the spine 0, 1. So it starts from the below. So this is the spine 1. So this is the spine 1. As you can see, spine 1. Spine 2. And spine 3. So, and the UFN skeletal mesh has 5 spines. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5. And I think the UFN skeleton, which is very much almost identical with the UE5 skeleton, is more modular, I would say, for making third-person shooters, because you have more control of the bones of the character. So if you want to make it, say if you want to make the spine to rotate a little bit, to add that little detail of a spine rotation, and if you want to have more control of the, maybe you're gonna have more control and maybe avoid spine twisting issues, over twisting, by using the UFN skeleton. So that's why it's good. But you can also use the UE4 skeleton, which also works great. So it's all up to you to decide that. But both works great. And let me just get back to the, I have to close the UE4 skeleton because I've made the changes. So edit. So that's all I gotta do. Keep adding here. Spine 4, this is going to be spine 3. Just going to be editing the names. Here. So, all right, let's see what else. What else? I'm just going to go ahead and select all the sockets and just copy and paste. So select here. Select, I don't need the head socket cap, so I'm not going to select that one. So the holster, the pistol, 1H, the ammo pockets, the pistol 1H for the character's hand, the rifle and arrow. Let me just see if there is something missing here. The bow. All right, so all you gotta do is just click on any of them and copy selected sockets, and then there's Ctrl V here. And you paste everything. Now I just gotta make sure that the positions are right. So let's start with the bow. As you can see, it's glitching. I think you're able to edit those things in real time. Let me just test it out to see if that works. Play. So change mesh. Play. I want the bow. Yeah, I have to also edit the wholesale location. The hands of the character is a little bit distorted. And that could be an issue. Yeah, that could be a issue of that could be because the weight painting that the whoever made this character was done. As you can see, but yeah, the hands are twisting, and I think that's not a problem of the animation. That could be a problem of the skeletal mesh itself, because I think it doesn't happen in the UFN mannequin. Let me just test it out to see if that proves my statement. Retargeting? Yeah, it could be. Could be the retargeting. Could be many things. So as you can see, it doesn't happen in the UFN skeleton. But I think that could be fixed as well in the retargeting. That could be fixed. Let me just see if that happens with the UE4. Yeah, but the UE4 skeletal mesh doesn't have the... I'm going to have to add all the sockets again. You see, there's a lot of work to do. But we're not going to be worried about that right now. It's just a small detail that could be fixed in many ways. We just gotta figure out which is the best way to fix it later. In the A pose it looks perfect, but when you're playing the animations, the hand glitches a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so let's get the next one. And this is going to be the hand pistol 1H. I'm just remove all the attached sockets. And I'm just close this and reopen it again. So as you can notice, there is a small mistake in here, rifle _0. Let me just see if that for the hand R rifle, yeah, that cannot happen. So I'm just going to pay attention to this. Second name is in use. That's interesting. So we have two. Let's just delete that. And all right. So we're going to go over the pistol 1H, add preview asset, and add the handgun. And just correct the position. And we just got to keep doing this until we have all the sockets set up. Rotate it to the left. Handmade, yeah. True work of art. I don't know why the camera is down in this character. If you change for the to be this the UFN character, it's going to be different. It's going to be more up. Ah, okay, maybe the yeah, that makes sense. It's because the UFN skeletal mesh is the height of the skeletal mesh. The height of the character is lower, so that makes sense. So we need to make the character the camera to be a little bit more up for the human eyes character. So maybe you can adjust the camera like right over here. Doesn't matter. You just lift it up. Let's just drop this up weapon and get the UFN. Yeah, as you can see it now, as soon as I change the character, now that's something very interesting, is because as all the characters, they are parented, all the other characters are children of the sandbox character, which is this one. This one is the parent, is the main one. We don't necessarily need to change the camera for this character right here, because if you do, it's going to change the camera for all the other characters. So what we do is just change the camera height from this specific character that has the height a little bit more up, that has a higher height, so that when you change the skeletal mesh, as you can see, the camera now lifts a little bit up, and that's very good. So when you get the pistol, now the character is going to have a very good height. Yeah, the hands are not good. I'm gonna have to hire a freelancer to take a look at this for me. Take a look at the why that's happening, because I'm not really I don't specialize myself in modeling or rigging, but I have a certain level of an idea of how everything works together. I have to know that because I'm a gameplay designer. But yeah. I want to put his hat black. How can I do that? Hat color. The cap. Morningstar said, what dodge animations did you use for the advanced combat system tutorial? I don't remember. All the asset packs I've used, I don't remember. But you can search it up on the marketplace. Maybe you can find even better ones. Cap. Okay, this is the cap, I guess. Okay. Maybe if I change the cap color. The parent is cap. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so yeah, I have no experience with materials as well, but I have to have a reference of how they work. So if I get, okay, let me try to do one thing in here. Let's see if this is going to work. So if I get the black color and plug it in the base color, I'm going to get this and apply it, and that's gonna work, I guess. Let me just see. Yeah, I think the textures were missing again. I'm not sure why that's happening. I'm gonna do one thing here, is just to right click on every single folder and click on validate assets in folder. Maybe something is going on there. I'm not sure what it is. As you can see, the plus signs are blurred out, and that usually happens when the GPU when the GPU VRAM runs out of memory. And that's not the case that's happening right now. I have 8 gigs out of 12. Okay, the CPU is compiling. Maybe something didn't compile earlier. So let's see. Let's wait for that to happen. So that the next time that we open up the project, we don't have such bugs like this blur things. Maybe that's going to solve the issue. Do you guys have any questions so far? You can ask about anything. Okay. Third person animation blueprint torch. What is this? Where is this from? Oh. Torch reach back. Okay. I'm just going to delete everything. I don't need this. Delete. Force delete. Character epic content. I'm also going to delete the blueprints. I don't need this. Blueprint classes. They're giving me arrows. I didn't know that. So first delete. All right. So as you can see now, the hat is black. But I think I have a better way to do this, which is by getting, if I set the base color to be directly into the RGB, it works. But if I set the multiply and add, no, just multiply, it's going to multiply the color maybe. It's going to be better. So apply, yeah, I don't know why the textures are like this. That works as well. I think it's going to look better when we restart the engine. Disable the visibility for the bones. Developer bones. We have other settings in here to change. If you want to mess around to debug other things, you can set it up in here. Guide you, I've got newbie questions. Should I start with a UE5 course or just learn mechanics on YouTube? It's very much what you want to do. If you want to start with a UE5 course, you can buy courses from Udemy. You can basically search it up on the Udemy. You can go to the Udemy website, and you can search for the best courses for blueprints. You can learn how to, because on the beginner course on Udemy, you're going to be able to start learning how to basically learn what variables are, those basic things, which is always important to have and get that as a base knowledge. So you can start doing that, and then you can start following tutorials, asking questions to communities, such as in the Discord channel, text channels. Ask ChatGPT to help you as well. Ask questions on the live. It's just up to you. But I think what really matters is just learning the nodes. So for example, So the most important things, sorry, my family wasn't here. The most important thing, if the course doesn't teach you about creating functions or macros, then it's not useful. So you can get the most, highly rated course for blueprints. They're going to teach you what is the let's see. Let me get the project that I'm doing for my course. Are you self-taught or have you gone to school, had a teacher again? Also, how old are you? 24? I'm 24. No, I've never went to school. Never did any course. I've done one course. I think it was 3 months ago, just to see how they are teaching it. Because my cousin was always interested in game development, so I bought the course for him, and then I just got interested to watch as well. But I've never done any course. I've never bought any course because at the time I didn't have money. So this is the content for my course. As you can see, it's just a preview of what you can see, what you can learn. So for the base course, where you're going to be learning the variables, the functions and stuff, all the nodes that I use. So these are the most used codes that I use. I mean, these are the most common things that I use. Let's say the nodes, the variables, the events, all that I use. I have them at the top of my fingers. So as you can see here, we have you need to learn what variables are, what the types of variables, how you can set and define a specific value for a specific variable. You have the action events. So as soon as you press one key, it's going to execute that based on several factors. And built-in events, you're going to learn what these events are, how they are triggered, blah blah blah. Debug options we have available. So we have the draw debug point. You have options to debug your code to see what's going on. You have the timeline. I haven't commented about it. Made a comment. Lerps, how to use lerps. Lerps are very useful for making smooth transitions. Traces. How to use all the types of traces. Get references of actors. Here I have the bad cast node because I've deleted the blueprint class. Here I have the get something, location, rotation, transform, velocity, and how to use them, when I can use them, when to use them, how to use them, what they're for. So set something's location, rotation, blah blah blah, scale. Animation execution, how to execute animation, types of nodes you can use to execute an animation, montage stop, other nodes to stop an animation, but this is just a base example. There's a lot of infinite ways you can stop an animation, but this is just a base. Custom event, how you can add a new custom event, how you can call that custom event, how you can create a new function, how to call that function, how to create a new macro, how to add input pins, output pins, different pins such as also booleans. So you have booleans. How to add collapse graphs, when to use them, how to use them. the nodes to spawn blueprint classes, anything in the world. Let's say you want to spawn an enemy. So you're going to select the class in here of the enemy and spawn the location, set up all those transform values. Collision handling as well, it's something that you can learn. Morningstar said, when will your course be released? What's the name of the character with the hat? I'm not sure when it is going to be released. I just know that it's going to be released somewhere in the future. Because I'm lazy to make the course. But if I make the course, I'm not going to be lazy to explain things. I'm always worried about if someone is understanding or not what I'm saying. I'm always worried about that. Let me just see what's the name of the character with the hat? It's the male 3 character. I'm going to paste it on the live stream so that everyone can access for free. So you're going to select personal use. So you're going to just click on add to my library. This character works great. Just the hands are glitching a little bit. So where was I? So here you can learn how to spawn the actor, spawn the sound, spawn emitter, how to add the emitter. Some emitters they are spawned and launched right away. Some emitters they have the trail effect. Some emitters are executed in the loop effect. I don't know much about emitters, but I know how to handle, how to spawn them. So the movement type of set, the movement type. Actually, here is set movement type. Set movement type. So here I have the character movement. You're going to learn how to set the movement mode of the character. So you have different modes to set. Collision. Yeah, I'm not going to go all over it because I'm going to spend a lot of time going through all of them. But basically, this physics simulation, physics impulse, how to apply impulse to physics, post processing, break nodes, math, delays, execution flow, branch for each loop with break, booleans. For now, I'm only using for each loop with break because it's very important to break the loop execution. Otherwise, it's going to just keep looping, and that's not good for performance. Booleans, float values, get something's transform as we're using for the hand-IK system. Select nodes, math direction, rotators. There's so much. And it's going to give me a lot of work to make this, but if I make this, it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be very comprehensible because I'm going to add access to people who are really starting on Unreal Engine, and I'm going to ask them for feedback for my course, and if they understand, then you guys can understand because they are also newbies. So everything I do here is just to help everybody. So we have the character movement settings, we have arrays, the final boss. But this is just, you don't really necessarily need to learn all of this. It's just a lot of information for you, especially if you're just starting. You don't need to be scared of all of this because I don't use all of this all single time, all at once. But this is just good to have in mind. And there's also, so this is just the basic knowledge that you need to have for making at least the backend logic of the code. You don't need to learn 100% what every single node does, but you need to have a general idea of how you can fix and implement things in your own code by using these nodes. So you don't really necessarily need to know how the random array works, but just by getting to know how the reason behind of how you can use this to implement things in your code already helps. So you don't really need to know how this node works. You just need to know when you're going to be using it for implementing things. And that's just what matters, what really matters. And then there is another part of the code. I think there's going to be 2 courses. One is just for the base, for beginners or maybe intermediate people. I'm not sure how I can set the level difficulty of a course, and then there's going to be also another course for everybody who has learned about the base course. The base has the base idea of how all those node works. I think there are nodes. There could be more nodes to add in here. This is just the base, but if they are, then I'm going to add them. No worries. And in the animation blueprint class, there is going to be a separate course. I'm only talk about the animation blueprint because maybe the base course serves for regardless if you want to be a level designer, HUD designer. There is a lot of things. There's a lot of people who is going to get this course, this base course, to learn how to be anything. Just develop on Unreal in general. It doesn't matter if you want to be a HUD designer, a level designer, anything. It's going to serve for any kind of game developer. That's what I wanted to say. Now there's going to be a second course, which is I'm going to be talking about layering animations. So there's going to be a separate course that I talk only about animations, how to add state machines, how cache poses work, transition rule events, property access, anything related to animations. I'm going to talk about in this separate course. So yeah, that's it. I'm not going to be talking about so long in here. Do you have any set price for the course? Not yet. I have no idea. It's going to depend on how much good the course is. All right, so let's get back to making the systems work. So the hand arrow is going to add a preview asset. Let me just remove all attached assets. So hand rifle. Ammo pocket. Yeah, I have no idea for the course price. Maybe. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm also thinking about not only offer the course, but also offer help. So generally people who watch these courses, they are confused about how to, maybe even if the course is well explained, they still don't know how to do things, and that's very common, and that's okay. So what I'm thinking about is to add like some sort of help where you can get direct help from me to do your things. I think that's going to be both learning experience for me and for whoever is going to buy the course. And I think that's going to be a very, very good initiative. Initiative. Initiativa. I don't know how to say it. Iniciativa in English. Not my language. Iniciativa. Let me just translate that. Iniciativa.
Initiative.
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 Initiative. Initiative. As you can see, the the ammo pockets are still glitching, and that's because the when you go to the UE4 blueprint, so UE4 blueprint, go to the viewport, and as you can see, they're still glitching. So you're going to go to the ammo pocket 2, and you're going to just drag it to UE4 mesh, but I cannot do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe grab the reference. So here's going to be destroy cap. I'm going to add a sequence. This is going to be attached to AttachComponentToComponent. And then get the name of the component. So this is going to be for the pocket 1. I always confuse the order. I don't know if the U4 mesh should be the target or the ammo pocket should be the target. So here I'm going to snap to target. And it's better to save everything before. Sometimes when you're attaching components, it crashes. Okay, it worked. Nice. Now we just gotta redo the same thing. Attach. So the parent is also always the mesh of the character. So I just gotta place that in there. And change the socket name. So this is going to be 2. It's not looking good. Maybe just add 1. I think it's enough. And then set the ammo pocket to be visible disabled, visibility disabled, and not attach the other one. That's going to be a lot better. Yeah. I think there's something wrong with this ammo pocket. No, there's not. I don't know why it's wet. The ammo pocket is wet. Let me see if I can change the material asset. So usually the wetness comes from the roughness. If you set the roughness to be 1, set the roughness to be 0, it's going to be very wet. It's going to be really wet. Set it to be 1, it's going to be crispy. Set it to be 85. It's going to be in the middle term. 85% crisp. Say dry. Yeah, I think I increased the size of it. You know, it's just little things that it doesn't really matter. It's just really boring to watch this, but I can really see how I can tweak things. Maybe it's really not necessary to watch this live stream, but let me just increase the size of this. I think it makes sense to make it a little bit bigger, and also pick up the scale from snap to target, the scale rule. I don't know why I'm editing this one. This one is not valid. Scale rule, and then just see how this is going to go. Yeah, I think the wetness could be a little bit more. Roughness would be 0.5, let's say. Yeah, supply. Let me just change the environment. Sometimes I like to change the day and light settings. So what about physics? Will you add some simulation for those body attached sockets so that they jiggle and look cool. Just my personal preference. Yeah, maybe in the future. It's not really... It looks cool. It's not really my... I've never added such physics to bodies. I have experience on adding physics bodies such as for the hair, things like this, but jiggle physics is not really my... Not really worried about that right now. But in the future, yeah, definitely, because The Last of Us 2 also, they do have jiggle physics in the bag, the backpack. And there's also physics in the arrow and in the bow. They look cool. And it adds much more realism, I think. So okay, ASCII skin. Now we're going to just keep adding the other things. So holster pistol 1H. We gotta also fix that. As you can see, it's really attached to the character. Wow. Okay. Relative scale is so big. Why is that? Add preview asset, holster. Go to details, and the relative scale was not copied. So that's why the relative scale is 0.2, 0.15, and 0.16 for the Z. I don't like the pivot point is right in the middle. A pivot point of the holster is right in the top. I don't like that. We can fix that in Blender, but for now, it's just so many little things to do. But at the end, it's going to be very, very gratifying. How do you say this? Gratificante. Gratifying. Gratificante. Rewarding. It's going to be very rewarding in the future when everything's done. Yeah, I can also add the pivot in the Unreal editing as well. So if you add the holster, pistol holster, go to modeling, get to I cannot edit the pivot. Set pivot mode. Complete. I think it only works for static meshes, maybe. Yeah, I think it only works for static meshes. Big holster. As you can see, you can edit the pivot only for static meshes. So the thing that we're gonna have to do is going to just convert the skeletal mesh to a static mesh, which is by going to it's just a lot of job. But essentially you're going to go to the skeletal mesh, make this static mesh, and then you're going to edit that pivot. Once you edit that pivot, you're going to convert back to the skeletal mesh so that you can add. Yeah, it's just small little things that you need experience to do, but it's just so dumb. It's just so small little things that it's easy to do. It requires some sort of experience. But it's just a lot of tasks, and those hard, small tasks combined with, you know, a lot of small tasks to do is still work. So you gotta keep motivated somehow to do this. If you don't want to have clipping with his sheath, I recommend to add the sheath to a skeletal mesh to actor. And add the sheath to construction script as copy paste from mesh. Copy pose from mesh. I did understand really good, really well. Copy pose from mesh. Oh, I see what you mean. Recommend to add this sheath as a skeletal mesh actor, and then add this sheath construction script and copy pose from mesh. There's a copy pose from mesh in here, but just gave me a really good idea to do something different. There we go. I'm going to do this in a different way, but that's going to break the code unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to move the arrow to be out of here because it's going to occupy a lot of space in here. As you can see, arrow. I don't like this. It pollutes a little bit the skeletal mesh. So what I'm gonna do is delete everything here. I don't like this. Maybe it's going to break the code, but that's why you gotta do it to improve things. I'm going to make a where is it? Skeletal mesh. I'm going to make a blueprint out of the static mesh, or maybe it's better to, yeah, we're going to make a blueprint for now. This is going to call blueprint ArrowPocket, and I'm going to show you what I can do. So as you can see in here, we have the ArrowPocket, and here we can add as many arrows as you want, and that's going to be attached to the, oops, not this arrow. I think it's a skeletal mesh, and here you can add the arrow. Usually I think the size is wrong, but that's okay. But this is, I think this is upside down. I'm just, oh yeah, there's no way to rotate it. That's great. If there's no way to rotate it, I can rotate it in the static mesh itself or in Blender. Import mesh with dialog. Offset rotation, let's say 180 for the X. Maybe that's going to be solved. Whoops, that's not going to be solved. Maybe 180 for the Y axis. There you go. Save. ArrowPocket, compile, save, boom. Now, here in the first skeletal mesh, you're going to add the arrow. Yeah, now the thing that we're going to need in here is to set the... Yeah, I'm still thinking about this. And you can do this pivot in an arrangement modules mode too. Yeah, so we can do it, but it only works for static meshes. So you gotta Just keep that in mind. I've heard this odd claim that games made with blueprints run worse, but as I understand it, the engine still compiles everything down to native code when you build the game. Is that actually how it works? I'm not sure. When I hit compile, everything works as long as the game runs. Everything's fine. I don't see blueprint run worse, but of course there's always that percentage. I think C++ works better in terms of performance. I think 20 to 30% better, faster. But we can still run with blueprints as long as there is no glitching, there is no FPS drop frames happening there. And this code is not even optimized. And it's running pretty good. Let me see if I can show the FPS. How can I show the FPS? Engine. Anyways. Show lit. Perspective. Here. Show FPS. As you can see, it runs very good. I don't know, I'm getting 70 FPS. No idea. 90 FPS. And let me see how my GPU is handling this. My GPU is 100%. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's because I am live streaming. But we're gonna have to test it out. Build a game, compile it, and see if this game is going to run in lower end GPUs. But I guess what really matters here is not the GPU itself, because there's no much thing in here. You know, the GPU is just the GPU. It just renders the video. What we should really worry about in here is the CPU. I have an i9, and in here it runs to be 50%. I'm not sure if you compile the game, the CPU is going to drop about like 170% less. Can you run a test alone game that gives you a great frame? Okay, I'm not sure about optimization. That's not really my specialty, but let's test it out. Standalone game, save selected, boom. That gives me great frames. Yeah, due to the fact that I'm running on the PI editor, that's going to use a lot more GPU and CPU, all those things. That's what I imagine. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's lagging a lot. In my case, it gives me worse frames. I'm going to make a build, and I want you guys to test it out to see if, especially for people who has a low-end machine, low-end GPU, I want you guys to test it out to see how the game is going to play, if you're going to have issues. But for me, as I also have a really good CPU and GPU, I don't have any problems, but for low-end machines, maybe could be different. And remember that I'm also running the graphics on the settings in here. Just so engine scalability settings, I have all on Epic. If I lower it down, put it to below, let me see, compiling. It's giving me a lot of errors, but you know, the FPS is still the same. But I feel that the game is running a lot more smooth because there's no much things to render at all. Especially. Especially that. So do you guys know how to compile a game? Package. I'm going to package for shipping. And I don't know what the difference is between the cook and the package. Maybe the cook is just cook the... Let him cook. Cook the content so that make sure that all references are in place. Let's see, package project. We're going to go to live stream part 4, and I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm going to make it basically make it build 34, build 34, build live stream 34. I'm going to place that in there, select folder, show output log, and let's wait for it to package. I'm going to be right back. All right, so I'm going to, for those who are still in the live, I'm going to leave now because I gotta go. I'm not going to record and let the live stream alone. I'm going to let the download available for you guys for the build in the description of this video, and I'm going to also post on the servers. I'm going to post the build to download for anybody to download in the Patreon for free members for all the communities that I have so far, and that's going to be it. So when the build is done, I'm going to upload a link so that you guys can download and test to see if you have any issues with performance.